David Jackson.
BBC Radio Nottingham.
19 minutes past 4 now. Of course, this is the music to Star Wars. Episode 7 is going to be in cinemas soon. 18th of December is when that comes out. Now, to help you get ready for that, in a couple of weeks, there is a special night on at the Concert Hall in Nottingham where you'll get to hear all of this music, the music of John Williams, performed live at the Concert Hall. If that doesn't get you in the mood for the new Star Wars film, nothing will. It will be introduced by an actor by the name of Marc Silk. Now, he has been in one of the Star Wars films. He was Axe Mo in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and he is the man who will be there in Nottingham in a couple of weeks to talk you through the music. How good is this music?
It's the greatest music in cinema ever. This is the music that shaped our cinematic lives. I grew up as a massive fan of Star Wars. As a kid, I had all the figures. I watched the making of Star Wars. The making of Star Wars was the VHS tape that I watched the most and hid out from the video library the most when I was a kid. It was so influential to me, the Star Wars films, but the music is such an important part of them, and to hear it played live by a full symphony orchestra, the full CBSO, with the massive choir too. It's going to be quite a night.
Well, it lends itself so well, doesn't it, to live performance. You can imagine it filling the concert hall.
Oh, it will do. When we were rehearsing this, I sat on the side of the rehearsal stage, and every sort of 30 seconds I would get goosebumps. There's one of the pieces that's played is a piece called Yoda's Theme. And there are three little sort of bells in the middle that are played on a Celeste keyboard. And the moment you hear these dun 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 noises, oh, it's goosebumps time, because it puts you right in the heart of that movie again. And you know, the show will take you from right at the beginning in story order from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, right through to Jedi, and you're going to hear the key pieces of music from each of those films performed beautifully by this massive CBSO orchestra.
And your role?
I will be your host for the night. I will be your Showbiz Star Wars host for the night. I was lucky enough to work with George Lucas on Star Wars Episode 1. Day to day, I work in animation and TV and films and games. Basically, I do the voices for a lot of cartoon characters. Most of the time, you'll hear me on TV or films or games not sounding like this.
So when you say you worked with George Lucas on that, I mean, it's a massive operation, I'm sure, making a Star Wars movie. So how did you put your voice down on it? How did it work? I
got a phone call out of the blue asking if I would come in to talk about working on a brand new Star Wars film, and I said, hang on a second, I'll check. Yes. And I ended up going into Abbey Road Studios, which just to step foot in Abbey Road was such a thrill in itself.
It'd have to be Abbey Road Studios, wouldn't it? They're not just going to call you to some poxy little studio in the middle of nowhere. If you're going to do Star Wars, it's going to be Abbey Road.
No, we used Abbey Road Studios, and I was brought in to create character voices for these new characters for Star Wars Episode 1. The main one was a guy called Axe Mo, AKS MOE. He is a handsome guy with a goat's head, 3 eyes, very dry skin, and a desperate need for moisturiser.
Did you feel you'd been typecast?
Yeah. No, not again. Where's something smooth when I need it? No, and I was asked to create a character voice that was very English and very posh and very sort of upper crust like this. He's the ambassador of Malastare, so he gave him a voice that spoke like this. And I was in the studio with George Lucas and directed by him at Abbey Road, and it was dream come true time. And this was also, it had been 16 years after Return of the Jedi. So like we're feeling now with this new Star Wars film, it's been 16 years since Phantom Menace. And suddenly, as a huge Star Wars fan myself, I find myself in a room with George Lucas creating a character voice.
How long did it take to decide on that voice?
It wasn't that long, actually. They decided what they wanted the character to look like and feel like, and what he should sound like. They wanted him very British, they wanted him very regal, and they heard something in what I did for them when I was coming up with ideas that they liked, and they said, yeah, we like that, let's do that. And so it didn't actually take that long to decide what we wanted. It was kind of let's get on with it.
So what was it like then, sitting down to watch Star Wars for the first time, and then hear your voice come out of Axmo on the screen?
Unbelievable! I took a bunch of friends to see the first screening of it when it came to the cinema, and we sort of took over a row of the cinema, and when you hear John Williams' incredible score start up, they all went yay! And so just that itself was enough. So we'll hear that. By the way, just as a sidetrack, when you hear the 20th Century Fox fanfare played live on November the 23rd in Nottingham, it's going to blow your mind. To hear this played live is incredible. But when we actually heard my character, when we saw my character come on screen, and my character said its first line, "The Congress of Malastare concur with the Right Honourable Delegate of the Trade Federation. A commission must be appointed. That is the law." And then the whole row went, yay! Started applauding. And the cinema looked at us like, what are you doing? It's not important. Well, to us it was. So to answer your question, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible to hear this happen.
Do voice artists not get to go to the premiere then?
Well, I went to the cast and crew premiere in London, so I did get to go to it, yeah.
All right.
And to be in the room with everyone around you, you think, hang on, I recognise them. Oh, you're you.
Because I guess you wouldn't have got to work with them on the sort of day-to-day making of the film, because your voice would have come separately in a studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like with so many of these things, you often don't get to meet each other. I crossed paths with a couple of people that I knew, but really, yeah, I was working solo with George Lucas, which, to be honest, I had no complaints about.
So, your favourite of the Star Wars films is bound to be Episode 1, I'm guessing? Being as though you're in it?
There is no greater Star Wars film, naturally.
I'm not
How
sure.
How could you get a better film than a film that's got my voice in it?
But obviously, as a fan growing up, you've now got another one to look forward to coming out.
Oh, and they look terrific.
How much are you looking forward to that?
I'll be there at midnight with my Axmo figure in my hand.
So how nice is it for you then to get to continue your affiliation with Star Wars? You're obviously a big fan, and as you say, so you grew up watching it and then you've been in it. To be able to kind of stay within that world, to go around and talk about Star Wars like you are doing at the moment, and will be at the concert hall in a couple of weeks.
It's incredible. It opened up so many doors for me. At the time, I just started breaking into the voice acting scene, so I just worked on Chicken Run, and then I went on to work on a show called Johnny Bravo, being the voice of Johnny Bravo. Now I do a lot of cartoon voice, everything from Scooby-Doo to Pingu to... There's lots of them. But Star Wars and Star Wars meant so much to me as a kid. It's such an iconic collection of films, and being involved in Star Wars opened the doors to me being asked to go around the world and sign at Comic-Cons and do talks, animation festivals, and share the love share my love for movies and animation. I do a lot of talks and things, but really, I'm just a big fan of this stuff. If I wasn't involved in it for work, I'd be queuing up with the rest of them to just see behind the scenes.
The story of episodes 1 to 6 of Star Wars through the music. It's on at the concert hall, the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra, performing the music, and Marc Silk, you just heard from, and we'll be talking through it as well, and explaining, no doubt, as he just has, about how he was in Star Wars as well. It's BBC Radio Nottingham. It's 4:30.